we're really going to break down how to turn content into income. And I'm so excited because we're not talking about this in the typical way. We're talking about how to turn content to income where you don't need fame. So first, let's blow up this chat and comment where you are listening in from. I am currently in Colorado, although I'm originally from West Palm Beach. That is still so home to me. Before we start, make sure you silence those phones again. You put away any distractions. This is going to be a masterclass, so you will not be able to go back and see something. So if you miss something, you might miss it. And I don't want you guys to miss anything. Okay, so we are first going to start with the question of all questions. Have you ever wanted to turn content into income? As I wait for everyone to scream, yes, absolutely. Why else would we be here? We were coming to a masterclass on how to learn how to turn content into income, but really my question for you is a little bit deeper than that. Why haven't you yet? Why have you not been able to turn the content into income? But let me reassure you, it is likely not because your content sucks, but because you've been sold the lie that the influencer to income pipeline is actually the only way to turn your content into income. But today we're really going to be breaking down that belief and turning you towards a different option that is now on the market called Canvas UGC. We are really going to be diving into that because you actually can turn content to income with no fame required. I will forever just be obsessed with that tagline, so ignore me using it 24/7. So you're absolutely in the right place if you are looking to turn content into income, but you don't want to be a full-blown influencer. Maybe you don't want to be a full-blown influencer because you don't want to share your entire life on social media. Hi, hello, that is so me. I like a private personal life. Or you don't want to wait 2 to 3 years to become an influencer, to build up that following, to actually see some money in your bank account. So today we're going to dive into the 4 steps to Canvas UGC, the 3 hooks your content is likely missing, and then 3 ways you can leave today and improve your content in 3 different ways. So a little bit of introduction. Like I said, I am currently in Denver, but I am a South Florida girl through and through. The pink on here really gives it away. My girls in Denver, you know, like the color pink does not really go. Everyone's in neutrals and all of the things 24/7. So having a little bit of an adjustment, being in Denver, being a South Florida girl. I'm also a travel advocate. I've traveled so many places. I've been so blessed through content creating to be able to travel so many different places like you guys are going to see in a lot of these pictures throughout this training. And one thing that you will not see pictures of is that I'm a former lacrosse player. The mouth guard and helmet, that's the word I'm looking for. Helmet really is not appealing, so there will be no photos of that. However, lacrosse really was my pride and joy and something not too many people know about me. Another thing to know about me is I am a 9-to-5 hater. Post-grad, post-undergrad, I worked a sales job for about 3 months is the extent of what I lasted. I hated it so much that I decided to try anything and everything to get out of it. My loving corporate father did make me stay 90 days. He said, you need to stick it out for 90 days in order to really make sure this is something that you don't want to do. But guys, I hated that 9-to-5 grind so much. I was willing to do and try anything. So I stepped into content creating and started pursuing it a lot more seriously after my 9-to-5, simply because I could not stand crying in the bathroom every single day. I worked a sales job in a Home Depot. If you know, you literally know. It was one of the worst things ever. So I stepped into more of the influencer lifestyle around 2022. It was really taking off. Pinterest was paying, Instagram was paying. I was making great money through that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I'm quitting my job. See ya, never going back to 9-to-5. And then a few months later, Pinterest stopped paying, Instagram stopped paying, and I realized my paycheck was actually cut in a third. But I'd already gotten that taste of the free from the 9-to-5 lifestyle that I decided I had to do and try anything to not go back to that corporate lifestyle. So amongst the things that I tried, obviously the first of which was influencing. And then I got into a little bit of like boutique modeling. And then I tried to be a travel agent. That I made about $200 total. Anyways, I was a boutique associate, literally working for $15 an hour in a boutique. I then pursued health coaching, fully got my certification in that, as well as with the travel agency as well, and then tried TikTok Shop. When I say I've tried everything under the sun, I quite literally mean it. I would do anything to not go back to that 9-to-5 lifestyle. But as I was pursuing all of those different things, I still kind of felt like I was still trading my time for money. And the reason I wanted rid of the 9-to-5, besides hating that specific 9-to-5, was because I wanted to actually have freedom. I didn't want to have this freedom that was sold online where you make your life look really appealing, but you're still working X amount of hours a day. I wanted that true freedom. I wanted it for myself in my younger 20s to be able to travel, but I wanted it for myself in the future. I wanted to plan a future for myself where I was able to be home with my kids someday and still bring in income for my family. Then I found Campus UGC. And when I tell you it changed everything for me, I genuinely mean it. I started making thousands of dollars a week and just working 3 hours a day. I was completely shocked with how little I had to work to get such an incredible output in terms of finances. And I quite literally booked a one-way flight straight to Asia to celebrate finding Campus UGC. I was traveling all throughout Southeast Asia, staying at really nice hotels, doing really great things for about a little over 6 weeks. And I was building a savings account at the exact same time. I started an emergency fund. While living in Southeast Asia, I was able to start putting money into my investments in Southeast Asia, when in reality, I was doing all of those other things like influencing and like TikTok Shop, all of those things on that past slide, and living paycheck to paycheck. But once I discovered Campus UGC, it felt like the heavens opened and I finally found the thing. So the income, of course, was great, but what really sold me was that lifestyle. The 3 hours a day is the thing. I feel like so many times people advertise these things and you can make X amount of money. And although that's fantastic, I feel like there's something really sweet about women where we want more the lifestyle. And it's not even the push Pilates lifestyle. It is to be able to be present with the people that we love and to be able to actually look around at our day, put this silly little thing down and really live our lives. And I think that's why I specifically just work with women, because we're able to really appreciate this in a sweet way. When I compared this to what I was doing in influencing, I specifically loved Campus UGC because I wasn't attached to this little thing anymore. I didn't have to share my entire life online because my income was no longer attached to my personal identity. It wasn't attached to if I was showing up on social media and posting every single aspect of my life like a lot of influencers have to do. I very clearly knew the difference between work life versus my real life. When I say I would work 3 hours and then put this down, of course, I'd still take like cutie pictures while traveling and all the things, but I was able to put my work phone, quote unquote, although I do have 2 phones actually, but although this is both, I was able to put that work phone down, leave work to be work, and live my life. And then of course, the bonus of being able to work from literally anywhere in the world doing Canvas UGC. And once I was hooked, I had to tell everyone because I feel like everyone and their mother wants to be an influencer and wants to be a content creator, but I felt like I kind of stepped into the influencing world and was lied to that, oh my gosh, you get all this freedom. But I don't like a phone in my face. I don't like the reality that a lot of influencers feel the pressure to share their kids online. I mean, we can talk about that for a long time, but I didn't want my whole life to sit right for me or for what I wanted in my future. Now, Canvas UGC has not only brought so many open doors for me, it has also brought it for so many of the members in our community. So thanks to Canvas UGC, we've had members book one-way flights as well, which is so freaking cool. We have had them launch their dream companies. If you have seen the season planners, shout out to our girl, Georgia. She does a fantastic job. If you need a planner, there's her shameless plug because they're so adorable. She was able to launch that throw event while working and doing Canvas UGC. And then we have also had moms be able to stay home with their kids. And no, we do not have photos of the kiddos on this masterclass because we're not influencers and we do not have to post our children, which can I get an amen to that? Because that's a wonderful thing. You can create content in Canvas UGC. No one even has to know that you have a kid. Although the mom cell of a messy house certain times does do well for content. And don't just take my word for it. Want to give you guys a second, one, to catch up in the chat, two, to just read over some of our students' experiences. Also, while I get a sip of water, because the elevation is no joke here. Okay, so now we are going to fully dive into the training. How do we actually turn content into income? So first I want to break down, since I did the hard comparison of influencing to Canvas UGC, I want to chat for a second about traditional UGC versus Canvas UGC. Likely a lot of you guys have already heard about traditional UGC, where you kind of get a product, you film that product, you make it look super aesthetic, and then you sell it off to a brand. There's no posting involved, and typically it's kind of a one-off deal with those brands, at least from my experience doing so, and you spend a lot of time behind your laptop just pitching. That's personally the draw that I had away from doing traditional UGC and into Canvas UGC. Canvas UGC, however, you do post. So you're going to be posting on a brand-owned UGC account. And this gives the brand an opportunity to test out different things and really scale at a insane rate compared to just running ads. Because if you guys want to behind the scenes of what the ad market's doing right now, it is now 3 times as expensive to run an ad than it was a year ago, just because people have raised their rates in the Meta and in the TikTok space. So it's actually quite expensive for brands to pay to run ads nowadays. With Canvas UGC, another appeal to it is that you are paid monthly, if not weekly. And with those payments, there's no really cap or ceiling to what you can make in a given month. And you truly become an asset, not just a one-off hire. So you're not having to, again, sit behind your email 24/7, hoping and praying that maybe one brand responds to you. And that was really my issue with traditional UGC. I felt like when I was trying to get into that, I would spend hours upon hours pitching to brands. And as someone who loves to travel and is from South Florida, the UV is way too high during the day to be spending hours of my day wasted. Also, can we be real for a second? There is nothing worse than sending emails all day. I feel like certain times if you're creating content and it's not overly going anywhere, you're still able to learn and practice a skill. But sending emails, that's not necessarily a skill we need to be doing. And if you're spending 2, 3, even like 5 hours a day sending emails, that is quite literally a waste of your time. And you need to be learning a skill that actually can make you some money. So really, when I looked at this, I had to sit and think about one question. And I want to ask you guys the exact same question. And that is, what is your time worth? So often in the influencing and the traditional UGC space, typically creators will talk about, oh, well, I was paid $200 per video. Wow, I'm so cool, I'm so worth it. And that sounds really appealing at first, but when you calculate the 8 hours that's spent pitching, the amount of no's you got from different brands, showcasing your entire lifestyle online, when you add up how many hours you actually worked, quote unquote, in exchange for that $200, you're actually working for like $5 an hour if you sit and look at your time that way, which I think in the content creating space, no matter what you do, if you pursue Canvas UGC that way or not, you should ask yourself this question every single day about content creating and also about other things. That's just like a pro tip in life. I heard on a podcast this idea once of figure out what an hour of your time is worth and do not do anything in life that it would cost you less to pay someone else to do it. Again, that's going on a little bit of a tangent, but we have to actually sit and think about what is our time worth to us. I know a lot of people, if you are a mom, an hour of doing something like emailing to get absolutely nowhere is an hour you could have been spending with your kids, or an hour or spending a whole day pitching or shooting this like over the top stuff in exchange for maybe $100. That's a whole day you could have been spending on the beach or traveling or putting time into building something more. Our goal is more time. Yes, of course, money helps buy back our time in a lot of ways. So I'm going to teach you how to make money in this too. But I really want you guys focusing on what is your time worth? And we're going to come back to that a couple times throughout this. So let's break down what is Canvas UGC. Wanted to give you guys this picture of what kind of Canvas UGC actually is, and then we're going to dive into each of these kind of bullet points. So the first step is to get hired. So a brand hires you to create short form content that helps their brand grow. Moving into step number 2, you are actually going to be building an account. So you're going to be creating a new TikTok and Instagram account for this specific brand. So when a brand hires you, you create a new TikTok and Instagram account. And then step number 3, you post and perform. You post daily and reach the right target audience by posting every day and just staying engaged with said target audience. And then number 4, you get paid. So you earn based on how your content performs. The more views you get, the more money you make. So kind of differently to TikTok Shop, something like that, where you are earning a base on commission, you are earning based on your views in Canvas UGC, which if you've been in the content creating space or the shop my links or affiliate space where you have to say the line, shop the link in my bio or click the link below, does that not make anyone else want to throw up a little bit? Because if I hear someone say that, I'm like, ugh, next. Canvas UGC kind of breaks that down where again, you are getting paid for exposure of the brand name and of these videos about the brands over that. So step number 1, you get hired. And this is where I am absolutely going to be giving away so much free information in these next couple slides in the training. So first step, you get hired. So you can find jobs in a lot of different places in Canvas UGC. One of the options is on SideShift. If you guys haven't heard of the app SideShift, very shameless plug. It is a great marketplace to find different jobs. They have lots of Canvas UGC jobs, which are wonderful. Another option is Reddit threads. I just became a Reddit user this year, and I did not realize how many Canvas UGC jobs are on different Reddit threads about UGC, which is wonderful. In the Creator Current as well, we have a job board that has various job options, along with jobs you can immediately start working for on a trial basis upon graduating our community. And then our top graduates are actually making, which is insane. When I first got in this space, it was like $1 to $2. So our top graduates are making upwards of $7 per 1,000 views from connections that they have made through our job board. Step number 2 is building the account. So once you land a job, you will create a new TikTok and Instagram account for that given client, like we touched on a bit, and you post daily for that client. To ensure that that account actually keeps the client happy, you'll want to focus on a few key things. Number 1 is going to be to engage for at least 25 minutes a day. You want to make sure you're actually being a genuine user so that the app doesn't flag you, because how many of us know if we don't love TikTok, it won't love us back. Unfortunately, that is so true. So that also means posting daily, and then again, acting as a genuine user, engaging with that content that comes across your For You page. And then we really help and pour into our members in this way, helping them through the setup, warm up, and even maintenance process so that their account is doing well, is not getting stuck in that 300 view jail, and really performing so that you can make that $7 per 1,000 views on some of these videos for these clients. Number 3, post and perform. For each client, you will be posting a minimum of once per day. And then to ensure you can actually do this, we strongly recommend batching. Again, we are trying to live the dream life of not having to work 8 hours in a day, but I have definitely spent, definitely not 8 hours in a day. I think the most I've ever worked on Canvas UGC is maybe max 4 hours in a day. And that was when I was batching videos because I was going to spend a couple days on the back of a motorcycle through Vietnam. So I batched all my videos and then posted them when I had Wi-Fi. Quite literally, I was sending my clients pictures of me on the back of a motorcycle on the Ha Giang Loop in Vietnam saying, look where I'm working from. And it was the coolest experience ever. So to ensure these videos hit the best performance, the main thing you are going to want to be focusing on is your hooks. So let's talk hooks. The first thing we need to address when we're talking about Canvas UGC is that we are not influencers. I adore all of you. However, if I am a random person scrolling on my For You page and I don't know you, I don't know your authority, you have to kind of come to terms with, nobody cares who you are. Like, consumers do not care. You are just someone random on their For You page. So we don't have the luxury of being influencers where we can set our phone down and start our videos with, happy Monday, you guys. You know, the influencer space, they can do that because people really care who they are. But in Canvas UGC, nobody cares who we are, and we can actually use that to our advantage. I actually love that. That is one of my favorite things about Canvas UGC, that absolutely nobody cares who I am, and I can just go on, post good content and it performs well, it is no attachment to my identity whatsoever. So again, you are just someone random on their For You page. You cannot start your videos with just a happy Tuesday and moving on to the point of your video. You have to start it with a hook. So we're going to dive into the 3 types of hooks you need to be including. I would say at least 2 out of 3 of them in all of your videos. Again, you can apply these to Canvas UGC videos. You can also apply these to your personal videos. Whether you guys have a business and you need to implement these things, or you're trying to grow a personal brand, that's obviously totally welcome here. We have had people who honestly want to be influencers, but still make money through Canvas UGC and then implement what they've learned through our community into their content. So the first of which is visual hooks. We want to break the scroll because we are just sitting there scrolling away on TikTok especially. And we want to do something that's really going to literally grab the user through their phone and like shake them up where they're like totally hooked in on what we're doing. Visual hooks help do that. So if you've ever noticed someone drop their phone, you probably thought, oh, that person's so clumsy. It's a hook. It is quite literally a hook, especially if it was in the first 3 seconds. It was a hook. So also lifting up your sunglasses. If you've seen any of my videos, I do that in just about all of them. Setting your phone down, picking your phone up, moving it closer to your face. All visual hooks that are going to really captivate your audience. The next of which is text hooks. So these are kind of typically, it's going to be at the top of your screen, giving the viewer kind of a teaser about what your video is going to be about. If someone, again, is scrolling really quickly, they don't even care to hear about you, but they like kind of glances out of the top of their eye, something that's really interesting or something that's really shocking, and they see that text hook, they're more likely to actually stay and engage with your video. And then the last of which is going to be verbal hooks. If you've ever thought, why would someone say something like that? But then you kept watching, you were proof that verbal hooks work so freaking well. A lot of times people recommend you say the most outrageous things in order to really hook the person in. But even just a 3-second grab of something that is catchy really engages an audience. So next we're going to watch one of our members' videos where she nailed really all 3 of these things and her video went viral as a result. Fingers crossed that this video plays, and let me know if we can pick out all 3 of the hooks. Oh man, it's totally not going to, which means I have to act it out for you guys. Okay, so this video essentially is for an app called Bible BFF, and you can see already the on text screen hook of, I feel like I'm listening to an episode of Love Island. So cool. That gets you hooked in, especially when you're hearing something kind of about the Bible. What the heck is this? And then she starts the video by holding her phone away. She moves the phone in and she raises her sunglasses. So there is the visual hook. And then last but not least, I'm so glad I watched this so many times beforehand like this. And last but not least, that is her verbal hook. I would love to have you guys pick those out, but as you're scrolling through your For You page later tonight, the videos that perform well, see if you can pick out some of these hooks in the videos that you are seeing come across your For You page, because likely they have them and you just haven't noticed. And then the fourth of which is getting paid. So there's 2 different styles of payment, or like how you can kind of get paid in Canvas UGC. The first of which is a CPM. That stands for cost per milli, which is technically 1,000 in Hebrew, I don't know, some language, but anyways, that's what it stands for. It's anywhere in the industry, we've seen kind of anywhere from $1 per 1,000 views to upwards of $7 per 1,000 views. So with the CPM, you were paid on performance alone. So there's really high reward that can come from this style of content. Typically, those brands don't really care how many videos you post in a day. You can post 3 videos in a day. So if you are posting out good content and you're bringing in, let's say, 1 million views a month, which I know that probably seems like an insane number. It's not. We will teach you how to get to those numbers. Absolutely. So if you bring in 1 million views in a given month for one client and you're being paid $3 per 1,000 views for that client, you just made $3,000 off of videos that probably didn't take you too long to make. Again, these videos are very hook driven. So if you have a good hook, you've kind of like taken that line and sunk it. Like, you have succeeded in creating good content. And again, throughout our community and with our members, we train you how to create said good content. Our goal is not just to connect you and say, here you go. It's really to sit with you and coach you and help you create content that is going to perform well. And the second of which is the retainer. And this is, especially myself at the beginning, seemed the most appealing to me because I'm a consistency girl. I love being able to say, okay, I know how much money I'm making in a given month, but typically those retainers are being paid lower. So if your content is performing well and you're only being paid, let's say $600 for a video a day, that might be way lower than what you would make on a $3 per 1,000 views CPM. But you know you have the consistency of the $600 coming in. And then typically they also pay bonuses. So if you hit 1 million views, maybe you'll make an extra $1,000 or something of that sort. What's really nice about these two options is they are two options. It's completely different styles of payment, but you have options to both in Canvas UGC. One thing that I really like to do is I like to have a balance of the two. I typically work on retainer jobs to pay my fixed expenses in my life. So my rent, my groceries, my car bill, all of those different things. And then the CPM is kind of those fun, exciting bonuses. So you can kind of build consistency in Canvas UGC, but also build some pretty good wealth and bonuses and really turn this into something that might be part-time of an extra $1,000 a month to something where you're making thousands of dollars in a given month. So before we chat through the Academy itself, I want to leave you with 3 things you can do today to improve your content. First of which is on-screen captions. You guys, did you know 70% of people watch TikTok and Instagram without their sound on? I know that is myself. That is so me. If something does not have the text captions on screen where it's technically reading off what you're saying, I am not watching the video. I'm not turning my sound on. I want to be able to see it. I am also a closed caption girl on Netflix and Hulu and all of those things. If I'm watching a movie, there is closed captions. You need the closed captions on your videos or you are actually missing 70% of your audience. The second of which is the 2/3 rule. Again, there's a lot of things that I just apply to life that I'm throwing in here because truly how you hold yourself in life is going to obviously have an impact on your content as well. So the 2/3 rule is something I learned a few years ago, where it's essentially take 2 out of the 3 things. Do your hair, do your makeup, put on an outfit. If you can walk into every single day, making sure you were doing 2 of those things, you feel put together, you technically have more of a apt and attitude to want to log on and make content because you feel good about yourself. One thing that I notice a lot of people when they do work for themselves is they kind of get really accustomed to working in sweatpants or being really lazy and things like that. But you'll notice when you show up as your best, most hot, most confident self, your content is a result of such and will definitely perform better in that way. So like I was saying, a lot of people get into Canvas UGC because they think, I want a side hustle. I want to make a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s a month through Canvas UGC. One of our students, Cece, got into this kind of thinking she wanted this as a side hustle. And within a month of graduating, she actually doubled what she made in her main salary job through Canvas UGC in her first month. And since then, she's actually quit her job to do Canvas UGC full time, bought her dream wedding dress with Canvas UGC income, and bought a new car, which is insane. Like genuinely so insane, which is wonderful. Okay, so before we again go into the Academy and give you guys some more details on the Creator Current and really our community in general, today we learned the 4 steps of Canvas UGC, the 3 hooks your content is missing, and then 3 ways to improve your content today. So I expect when I'm scrolling my For You page, if I see any of your faces, they will have those little things. And I really hope you guys got some good value out of that training and information. So since you stayed the last 45 minutes, I'm curious, why did you really show up today? And you can drop this in the comments below because I am genuinely curious and I would love to know. I'm guessing it's because you're sick of a system that's not working. Again, like I touched on, it seems like everything online is really talking about the system and the pipeline of build a following, work super hard for 2 years to build a following, work for a free product. That's crazy, I will add, just to hopefully, maybe a brand notice you one day, and maybe you'll make a couple dollars off of your content creating. That system is so screwed up and it is so old. Like, we are so done with that system. We have had students who have under 300 followers make thousands of dollars a month. So likely you were wanting to turn your content to income, but you're stuck of waiting around for just that, for that look, for that brand to notice you, for your personal account to finally take off. You don't want to wait. You either want out of your corporate job or you just want to make your first singular dollar off of content creating. I know when I made my first dollar off of content creating, it was like, oh my gosh, like that was my dream since I was little. I was sitting around stalking bloggers in like 2018 in high school, just sitting there being like, I need this lifestyle. Like the bright and airy filters, I don't care. I wanted to be those travel influencers who were traveling all around the world. I knew I needed that life. Now there's a different way to get into that type of lifestyle too. So if you are here, you have likely already wasted hours, days, or even years trying to monetize off of social media. Your time is worth more than that, and you could realistically be turning content to income by the end of this month. So I told you guys we were going to touch on this again. What is your time actually worth? And we're going to sit with this for a second because I need you guys to just sit in this question for a second. What is your time worth? Not what are you worth for a video? What is your time worth to you? I know for myself over the last 2 years, my time has been worth so much more as I've continued to get older, as I've continued to really narrow down my priorities in life. We really only have one life. Like, your time should be so priceless to you. So one thing that my team laughed about me, how I put these on the slides, remember, I'm not special, but I am not special. Like, there is nothing that I did that was special about me when I first got started in this. I will say the one thing that maybe made me different is I did this in community. I did this with 2 friends alongside of me who both booked flights to Southeast Asia with me. And they were able to stick alongside me, and we did this together. We were able to be consistent in posting, even on the months or weeks when our content just wasn't performing. We were able to be consistent because we had each other to keep one another accountable. I think so many times in the content space, it's so you, but especially as women, I feel like the community aspect is so overlooked, and it's such a sweet aspect of it to be able to check in on one another, keep one another accountable, share ideas. The Canvas UGC space, guys, is not competitive at all. And I don't mean that to be like, there's no ways to get better, but you're competing against you yesterday. You're not competing against your peers. You're not competing against other people in this chat. You're not competing against people in the community. Like, the community in Canvas UGC is rooting for one another because this space is so cool, and your paycheck does not affect my paycheck. And that is one thing that is very, very cool. With this, you have the systems and you have the community through the Creator Current. Really, the one thing that I can't teach you is your commitment to this, and that can be whatever you choose it to be. So what do we actually offer at the Creator Current? Through the Creator Current, you go through 8+ modules that are go at your own pace. You've got lifetime access to those, and if they ever change, we have future updates, you will have access to all of those future updates. Like I was talking about in terms of keeping an account warm and warmed up, you will have a full warm-up checklist. You will have a graduate board where you can have chats with other graduates who are all at different levels. We host weekly calls, daily industry updates, again, because the content space is always changing, and then immediate access to different job connections, which is one thing that I'm really proud of in our community. I definitely go to work finding our creators and our members the best jobs in the space, and I can confidently say we have connections with the highest paying jobs in this space, which is wonderful. And it truly is not a reflection of myself. It is a reflection of the success that our students have been able to curate for brands. As of to date, our students have brought in over 120 million views. Million. That is insane. And we are on track to do about 600 million views in 2026. Wild. Insane. So a little about our module breakdowns. You will learn everything from hooks to the different methods to case studies, how to film, how to edit. Then we'll dive into you personally. how you can actually build a portfolio. We will be working one-on-one with you, myself personally, be helping you build your portfolio, giving you feedback on your videos. And I will not let anyone who is less than perfect get through. Like, we will sit there and refine your portfolio so that when you are pitching to brands, you not only have the experience and the content that you need, but you also are well equipped of how to pitch to them, what to say. You actually know what these brands are looking for. So you're not just kind of blindsided saying, okay, here's a random message, whatever else. You get immediate access to jobs upon graduating. We have really good connections with different brands where once your portfolio is approved and you go through a couple graduate modules, you are then immediately access to different trial positions that are paid trial positions that you can start working with brands immediately upon graduating. So if you are someone who already does content a little bit and you're like, well, I have experience, what can I actually get out of this? Ariana was one of our students who came in who actually had experience doing Canvas UGC before, but she was learning that a lot of people in the space, one, were lowballing her, two, she wasn't necessarily implementing the system. So in only 2 months after graduating, she was able to curate 8.8 million views on one singular account, just for one client. And then with that one brand, she made $4,000 in a singular month, which is incredible. Has opened so many other doors for her as well. So we're very proud of her. Okay, so my next question for you, and really my final question for you, is are you ready to turn content to income? And I know your next question for me is, okay, so what's the investment? The total value of the training, community, and the resources is $3,333. But since you were here with us on this call today, we are completely slashing that. And your price today is going to be $1,500 for all that I mentioned and all that is included, which is something that we're so proud of, which is incredible. So when you pay in full, you definitely get the best option, but we know that is not feasible for everyone to just drop that amount of money at a given time. So we also have enrollment open for as low as $500. You just will have 3 payments of $500 that will follow that payment that you make today. So when you do pay in full, you save $500. So here's kind of a breakdown of the different payment options. I want to just give you guys it in front of you where you can see the pay in full is going to be your best value. And then the payment plans will be an extra $500, but you can join for as little as $500 today. And then every month to follow will be another recurring $500. Okay, so when you are ready to join our community and enroll, you should see a pop-up below that says join now, and you can follow that link to go ahead and join our community. We are so thrilled about it and so excited to have you. Just to give you the run through, because I know the online space is the online space, just want to walk you through what the next couple of steps is going to look like when you do click this link. So you will notice that you are going to be redirected to a checkout link. That checkout link is secure. Once you purchase it, you will be directly taken to the WAP, which is where we host our community, and you will directly have access to the courses. So immediately, you don't have to wait around or anything like that, or wait for a link to be sent to you. You immediately can start learning the next second. So once you do enroll, you will see access to our different modules. You will see up at the top left corner that there is different modules. You will just go to the Academy. There's a button that says start here. And then the Creator Current is the first module that you go to. And you will officially have access to the different course modules, immediate access to our community, and the community chat officially opens over there. So exciting. Okay, next I want to chat through a couple commonly asked questions while some of you guys are hanging around if no one has clicked the link and hopped off yet, but let's just dive through a couple of these. So how many students do you guys accept in a month? Like I really try to hone in on our community, we are such a tight-knit, intentional community, and we really value that. So we typically accept around 30 students a month just because those weekly calls, we still want to make sure we are keeping them small and keeping them intentional. I also do work with you one-on-one with those portfolios. I want to know your face. Like, I don't want you just being a number that's going through this academy. I want to be able to genuinely sit with you, see you, help your content perform. And also our team is always getting questions of, who is this creator? We need to know details about them. When they say, we have this job offer, who'd be best for it? I want to be able to immediately have that short list in my head of, Oh, Gabriella was so good. Let me send over her portfolio. She would be a great fit for you. What is the earliest that I can start making money? Go through the academy. Takes our students typically around a week to 4 weeks, depending on the pace that you want to go through. Again, it's self-paced, so certain times people take a month or two from that as well. But once you submit your portfolio, you have immediate access to those jobs once your portfolio is approved. So you can land a job within the week after graduating, and many, many of our members have landed jobs the week of graduating, which is so wonderful. Do I have lifetime access to the modules? We touched on this a little beforehand, but yes, you will have lifetime access to the modules as well as any updates. Are there opportunities for continued education? Yes, so there is continued education. We give out daily industry updates to all of our graduates, as well as host weekly calls. What does this community really look like? Along with those weekly calls, we also, and those daily industry updates, this community really is of the best community. We host Monday night Bible studies for anyone who is interested in that. Obviously, this is not a Christian academy whatsoever, but through the Bible studies, it's been such a unique way to kind of set work down and really build in an intentional way, which has been the sweetest thing in the world. We have an engagement chat. These girls genuinely root for you. And like I said, the Canvas UGC space is not competitive in the way of you're competing against your peers or other people in the community. So we're rooting each other on. There's certain times that you'll notice that a hook idea might not work for you, but it'll work for your peer. And girls are so willing to just share those in the chat, which is so wonderful. So you're able to learn from people who've gone before you, help people who are earlier in the journey. It's really the sweetest place in the world. How soon can I get access to the academy? So can we kind of tailor your question? So if you sat through this and you got this full run through, you were good. You can click this link below. It should immediately take you to that checkout link that was shown on the previous slide. You should get immediate access to that checkout link and then immediately access to the academy to start working. And then will the price increase? So you guys are seeing the offer pop up here and you're seeing that it only has probably at this point 53 minutes left. So because you sat through this webinar and you were here, that price is going to last for the next hour. And then after such, that price is going to increase to our regular price. How long is enrollment open for? So if you do need a little bit longer to decide, that is absolutely okay. Again, the price will increase after an hour, but enrollment is going to be open for the next 5 days for this round. 120 members have been through our program, which is insane to say out loud, but yes, we have had 120 members go through. Couple more reviews from some of our students. We absolutely hope to see you on the screen on the next call. And that is all that I have for you guys. This link will also be emailed to you guys, but just in case that email is a little delayed, make sure to go ahead and copy this link, and that link is going to be at that price for the next hour. But okay, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next Inner Circle call. So excited to chat with you guys there, go through your portfolio, all the things. When you are ready to enroll, again, this button is either below or to the side. I'm not sure how it is popping up on your screen, but very excited. Thank you guys